I will warn you right now that I am in one of those brain cannot shut down modes. So, in the last 48 hours, I have gotten about 2 hours of sleep. um, I'm hoping that I will knock out soon, even though, as you can tell by the light outside, which is making Jazzy look really adorable. Hello, baby girl. Um, Not that any lighting is required for that. She always looks adorable. Um, Proving the point I was about to make, I am exhausted, sleep deprived, will likely ramble, but that's pretty standard for me, anyways. So, you, I don't know how much of a difference you'll notice. Um, I while unable to sleep, I was scrolling through Facebook, which I do cautiously and I try to do sparingly, way, way, way less than I used to for sure. But still more than I'd like. But we do the best we can. Um, Anyways, I stumbled on some videos. There was one from the BBC that was really funny. I'm unsurprisingly blanking. Anyways, I was watching one on Colbert who was announcing that John Batiste is officially um, no longer with the Tonight or the Late Show. The Tonight Show. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Which is sad because he was fantastic in that role. But I mean, are any of us surprised that he was ready to, you know, spread his wings a bit after the year he's had? And I mean, I have his record over and I got a new Hutch thing bookcase for it, for my record collection. So, not the point. um. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm excited for the new band leader. The way Colbert was talking about him sounds like the show is in fine hands. Extraordinary hands. But what an act to follow. Anyways, that is not the point. The point is that Facebook, relying on algorithms as it does, the next video that was in the feed following that was one of Jon Stewart winning the Mark Twain Award. And I watched the clip of Carell. Oh God, oh, mwah. fellow Massachusetts native. Actually, grew up just a few miles from where I am. Yeah, Massachusetts. We got some good folk here. We got some good fur babies too. True of every corner of the planet. Anyways, as he was talking about him, I was just really thinking about how critical, truly critical, Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert were for my education. I learned more from the two of them about real American history and the truth of what was happening at any given time. He has always spoken truth to power. We have seen him demonstrate that time and time and time again. He has tirelessly, even in retirement, fought for first responders from September 11th, which the fact that anyone had to fight for them to be taken care of after the hell that they went through. But he did it because no one else was doing it. He fought for the people who hey baby girl, for the people who risked their lives and ran into infernos. He is the reason, 100% guaranteed, he is the reason that veterans now have just a little bit more of disgustingly overdue gratitude and respect for the sacrifice that they made, most of them completely unknowingly. They put their faith in leadership that they would not be put unnecessarily in harm's way, that they would not be in a situation where they would be breathing in chemicals that were going to destroy their bodies for decades to come, if they're lucky enough to live long enough for them to see more decades. And how lucky is it going to be when they're spending them in pain? The things that our government has done in our name, in the name of freedom, in the name of patriotism, it's disgusting. And he calls it out whenever he sees it. He spent his entire career doing that. And I think all of us that grew up with that generation of The Daily Show and The Colbert Report, that combo was so perfect. I loved. I mean, no, Trevor Noah, love you. But that era was really, really, really deeply special, and it changed me. I remember being young, like my brother was in high school, he was getting into political science, or maybe it was when he went to college. I think that might have been what he was going to major in. And I couldn't understand why he wanted to get involved in and spend his time focusing on that, because to me, it was just all insanity. It was all hypocrisy and cruelty and lies. And I hated it. It was so slimy. And it is. All of that is 100% true. I mean, not 100%. There are for sure exceptions, but that shit definitely happens. He and Stephen, but man, Jon Stewart, in a way that was really profoundly impactful. He changed my understanding of our political system. He enlightened me. He did it all while 95% of the time making me laugh, so it was palatable, because what I learned from the two of them and all of the correspondence, and continue to learn from the alum of that show and the current, it made me angry instead of apathetic. It made me want to fight, because I knew better what I was fighting and what I was fighting for and why it was important. And being informed by them in a way that made gaining all that information not just palatable, but entertaining, and told in a way that not only made sense, especially for a young kid in a white bread, teeny tiny town who really did not have worldly knowledge at all. Not sufficient, at least. And wasn't like deeply interested in gaining that kind of knowledge. Like, I loved history, I loved cultural things, but when it came to politics, I was just so disgusted by it that I shut it out of my life. And I think that's what a lot of us do. I think a lot of us are just, we feel so disempowered by the system. We can see that it is not built for us because we are all struggling so fucking much. And we've been convinced that we're each other's enemies. Sorry, I'm going off on a whole different... That's not the point. That's not why I wanted to make this particular video. This video is about Jon Stewart and how I truly am now convinced that he is maybe our only real chance at saving our republic. I know that might sound bonkers, but can I just point to Zelensky, please? Because I doubt when people were voting for a guy who was in some comedy, I forget, I'm sorry, I have been avoiding the news as much as possible because my depression has been hanging out with me. I know he was in some comedy. I bet they weren't, when they were ticking that box, thinking, yeah, this is the guy who's gonna, rise against Putin and do everything he can on the front lines to save our country. I doubt that was what they had in mind, but that is what we are seeing. We are seeing him fight for his people, fight for the right things, fight against a tyrant. And he wasn't a seasoned politician. He wasn't a successful businessman. Stewart is an expert in America, in the United States of America. He is an expert. He made his career out of being an expert. He became an expert through his career. He knows our political system inside and out. He knows all of the major players in our political system. He knows how to communicate clearly, even with complex items. See, this is the sleep deprivation. Even with complex issues, he can communicate in a way that is digestible, that connects you to what he's saying, and makes you feel. And almost always does it in a way that makes you laugh. There are times, oh man, when he would rant, like really go off on a rant, when he was fucking pissed about something, those were my favorite. Holy cow. Suddenly, I'm all verklempt. Whoa. Didn't see that coming. But whatever, we'll go with it. Those were the moments that I loved him the most, because I was in so much pain. I was so angry about these things. I was frustrated that no one else was screaming at the top of their lungs that this is insane, that I'd watch the news and they'd try to give the balanced information, but man, some things are not balanced, and we need people who are comfortable telling us that, comfortable admitting when there is a right and a wrong, that there's not just different points of view. There is right and wrong. There is what you should do, how you should treat people, and how you should not. And he does that. He has always done that. Ugh, my God, I love him so much. And since he retired, he has spent when he isn't advocating for this country's military vets and first responders. Oh my God. Like, this is a real American hero. This guy, I fucking love him. He is now with his wife focusing on animal advocacy. They have this farm sanctuary, and oh my God, as a lifelong vegetarian since I was 13 and a vegan for, I don't know, 5-6 years now, that he chose in his retirement to advocate for animals, provide farm animals sanctuary and a safe place to spend the rest of their lives and die peacefully. Ugh, come on. I am, with as much patience as I can muster, I am waiting for the day that AOC can run. I will jump on that campaign. I will do whatever I can to get that woman elected. But she is not old enough yet. Thanks, U.S. Constitution. And I would love to see President Abrams in that office. But I'm also a realist. And knowing that in 2016 we could not get Hillary elected against Donald Trump, one of the most qualified people to ever run for that office. I can't even imagine what the world would be like right now if she had won, and she did. Popular vote, whatever. Okay. my fury runneth over. If we couldn't get that done, and 8 years later are trying to get a Black woman elected, if our response to the most amazing president I may ever see in my lifetime, definitely the most incredible, inspiring president I've seen thus far, he has set the bar really high. If we can follow that with Trump because he was a Black man, and there are people in this country who were so resentful of that they just swung hard in the opposite direction. Then, practically speaking, where we are right now in our society, there's no way in hell that she would win the presidency. Not against Trump or anyone blessed by Trump. No way. Not in this divisive climate. I love Bernie Sanders. I desperately wish he had won the first time he ran. But then in the second campaign, he had a heart attack, and he's now even older. And if we want I truly love the man. He has always walked the walk. He has always fought for what was right, even when it was a hard fight. It didn't matter. He was not playing a political game. He was fighting for people. And that is the kind of representation we desperately, desperately need. So I love him. But I think the opportunity for him to occupy that office has passed. I don't think it's in anyone's interest to, when there's so much at stake right now, to put that on his shoulders. And I think we need as many people fighting the good fight in Congress as we can possibly have. And he has become this huge figure for progressives. And I think that's where his skills and his passion and his talent is best utilized right now. I'd love Elizabeth Warren, but again, the practicality, would she get elected? Probably not. Not in this climate. She's would be even more divisive than Clinton if it came to a general election, I think, because she's so progressive. The right would just hate her. There's just no way. And Biden has been a much better president than I expected him to be, honestly. I know he's been a great public servant, and I am in awe of all he has had to overcome in his life. I think he got into politics for the right reasons. And I truly respect him. But I have not seen any evidence that he is a unifying figure. The left is lukewarm about him, much like myself, because those of us on the far left, to us, this feels it's not enough. It's not progressive enough. It's not. We need way more, and we don't have the time to wait for it anymore. And he doesn't have the whatever it is that is needed to make that happen. I don't think, anyways. He might surprise me again. But Jon Stewart, who opened the eyes of a kid from a blue-collar town in Massachusetts who knew literally a handful of BIPOC, so Black, Indigenous people of color, growing up. Literally a handful. Everyone else in my community was white. He helped me care. He helped me feel engaged. He helped me want to learn more and get involved in the process and change what I didn't like about it. And here I am trying. And I know he's done that for so many of us out there. And I think he could deliver information in a way that people in the center and people maybe closer to center on the right would be able to understand and connect with. And he's charming and charismatic and fucking hilarious. And it's hard to hate someone when they're making you laugh. Obviously, he's not going to win over the people on the far right. There's no winning them over right now. But he could get enough support from the rest of us and get enough of the people on the far left really excited that would get super engaged in his campaign and spreading the word and getting more people excited about him. And I hate that basically right now I'm begging this man that I admire and respect so much, who clearly has already given so much of himself, so much of his life to this work, and deserves to be able to just chill with a bunch of pigs and cows and chickens and just all of the adorable animals and chill for the rest of his life. I know he deserves that. But I don't see anyone else. I can't imagine anyone else who could successfully run a campaign that would actually be progressive and help people and maybe start to shift the way everyone in this country views one another. I know that's a lot to put on his shoulders, but he wouldn't do it alone, obviously. I think we need a comedian to run for president of the United States of America. I think Man of the Year needs to become a bit of a reality. You don't have to dress up like George Washington, Mr. Stewart, sir. But feel free to if you feel so inclined. It would be hilarious. And for anyone wondering what the hell I'm talking about, this is a little homage to Robin Williams, Man of the Year. It's a good movie. You should check it out. I miss that man desperately. He was a good human being. Okay, so that's my rant. I would like to see a Stewart Abrams 2024 ticket. I think how amazing would that be? Stewart Abrams. I think we could actually win with that ticket. So, if you think so too, help me figure out how the fuck to make that happen. Just, if all of us beg, can we all beg? Please, Jon Stewart, please save us. Sorry, really. I don't wish this job on anyone, especially for the next decade. Like, I know it's a max 8 years. It's because, 2 years before the actual election. The campaign. I was adding it in. And hopefully you win again. You get it. Sorry. Okay. Now I am going to stop rambling. Stewart Abrams, 2024.